It's all been leading to this, folks. If you're watching this video, that means that you, after many years of waiting, have finally seen the Avengers Infinity War, and your heart is probably feeling just a little bit heavier than normal because the third act of this film absolutely packs a wallop. For years, the filmmakers behind this movie have been teasing that there are going to be serious consequences coming out of Avengers Infinity War, and boy were they not lying. In this video, we will be breaking down not only exactly what happens in the Avengers Infinity War's finale, but also the consequences for all of the major characters, how it affects Thanos, and what we expect to see in Avengers 4. Let's go. The third act of this movie really begins in the endgame of the final battle between Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and a few of the Guardians of the Galaxy on the Mad Titan's home planet, which, if you remember correctly, doesn't exactly go super well for our heroes. Thanos, with 4 of the Infinity Stones already in his possession, manages to get the upper hand on Iron Man and gives him a good old stab right through the chest. It is a devastating moment. It really looks like it is the end of Tony Stark. Thanos is even just gloating, saying that I hope they remember you after I succeed in getting all the Infinity Stones and changing reality. But it turns out that it's not the end because Doctor Strange is to the rescue. Much to the surprise of absolutely everybody, Doctor Strange offers Thanos a deal, which he says that he will freely give him the Eye of Agamotto, aka the Time Stone, in exchange for saving Tony Stark's life. This seems like a shocking deal. Tony Stark is totally not willing to do it. However, it's a deal that Doctor Strange decides to go through with. So, at this point, Thanos has defeated good select members of the Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody except for Rocket and Groot. They are left devastated on the planet of Titan. Having collected 5 of the Infinity Stones, Thanos then finally makes his way to Earth, where he interrupts the battle between the Avengers, the Black Order, and their horde of Outriders. And frankly, the Avengers don't stand a chance. Thanos is by far the most powerful being in the universe, and every single Avenger he comes across, he swats away, punches. It doesn't really matter, as he makes his way to Vision so that he can get the Mind Stone, the 6th and final Infinity Stone, which is buried deep in Vision's forehead. They see that the end is near, so Scarlet Witch decides to make one of the biggest sacrifices of the movie and uses her powers, which were created by the Mind Stone in the first place, to actually destroy the Mind Stone and kill Vision in the process. Unfortunately, it is all for naught. Thanos, having just gotten the Time Stone, uses it to reverse reality by just a couple of seconds. Vision is restored, brought back to life, and Thanos plucks the Mind Stone out of his head, puts it in his gauntlet, kills Vision in the process, and in that moment, Thanos has achieved the level of a god. He finishes the mission that he has been trying to accomplish for his entire life, and he is just about to snap his fingers, and we just get one final little moment of hope when Thor comes crashing in with his Stormbreaker axe, slams it right into Thanos' chest, and for a moment it seems like, could this be it? Could the Avengers have won? But nope, Thanos just smiles, says, "You should have aimed for the head." Snap. The screen turns entirely white. We see this flash of a sequence where Thanos comes face to face with a young Gamora. Gamora asks him, what was it all for? What does it matter? His mentality returns back to Earth. Obviously, the world is devastated. The Infinity Gauntlet seems almost burned from the power it just used to eliminate half of the universe. Thanos decides to make his way back to his home world, leaving the Earth to deal with the consequences of his action. There are a number of heroes who do survive, however, a good number who also die. We'll be getting into those in a second. However, the movie ends with Thanos going back to Titan, sitting in a planet that he has restored back to its idyllic beauty, but despite having accomplished every single goal that he ever hoped to achieve, he can't even crack a smile. So that is the incredible note that Avengers Infinity War ends on. It is an incredibly devastating and sad note, particularly, and again, because of the number of heroes that die over the course of this movie. Obviously, this movie has a lot of consequences. There is some question going into Avengers 4 how many of these heroes we will see potentially resurrected. For example, Spider-Man. We know Spider-Man's getting another movie that is already going into production this summer, so chances are he is going to wind up coming back some way in Avengers 4. It is noteworthy that of the people who actually did survive, that presumably includes at least 5 of the 6 original Avengers, including Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hulk. We don't know know if Hawkeye survived. We don't know if Ant-Man survived. We don't know if Wasp survived. We don't know if Nakia from Black Panther. We don't know if even Shuri survived. We don't actually get a final moment with her in the movie. We'll have to see how it all winds up in Avengers 4. As teased by the end of the movie, it does say Thanos will return, so we will see the conclusion of his story in that second film, but there is a lot of question to exactly what happens. Will we see the Marvel Cinematic Universe maybe jump ahead a few years? Is it possible that we will see kind of the universe adjusting to the fact that half of existence has been wiped out? Is it possible that those who died when Thanos snapped his fingers actually exist in Soul World, which is a full-on universe that exists within the Soul Stone as depicted in Marvel Comics? That could potentially lead to their avenue towards resurrection. So there are a lot of questions that we are left with at the end of Avengers Infinity War, but the biggest, most shocking takeaway is the fact that so many of these heroes that we have grown to absolutely love and just they're gone. They're all gone. Now let's move on to talk about Thanos, because obviously this entire movie is about him. Given his level of dissatisfaction with everything that he's done, is it possible that he could use his god powers to reverse everything? Could he potentially become a hero and you do something where he actually supports the idea of scattering the stones? That's potentially a story to explore. It's also possible that he could go the complete other direction and become a megalomaniacal warlord and just rule the universe with an iron fist and use the fact that he has the powers of God and nobody can stand up to him to his full advantage. That is absolutely on the table. So the direction for Thanos in Avengers 4 is going to be fascinating. Certainly one of the biggest things that fans are going to be talking about coming out of Avengers Infinity War is the decision made by Doctor Strange to give the Time Stone over to Thanos in exchange for the life of Tony Stark. The idea that you would give him an Infinity Stone for the sake of one person, that doesn't seem all that great. That doesn't seem like a very fair deal. However, you may remember an important sequence in the film where Doctor Strange uses the Time Stone to witness the events of millions upon millions of different versions of the future, most of which admittedly do include Thanos achieving his goals and taking over the universe. However, there is exactly one way that the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy can win. Presumably, Doctor Strange had that in the back of his mind when he was witnessing what was going down in the battle with Thanos, and presumably felt that whatever goes down in the future, whichever path leads to victory, Tony Stark needs to be there, and maybe the Time Stone doesn't, which is why he decides to make that sacrifice. He trades the Time Stone for Tony Stark's life. Thanos, to his credit, is good on the deal. He lets Tony Stark live. So the one person in the universe who actually knows the only way that they can win against Thanos is now gone. Sadly, that's a matter of fact. And the Avengers will have to try and succeed and be victorious despite the fact that Doctor Strange isn't there. It will certainly be a topic of discussion in Avengers 4. We will, of course, see how Avengers 4 will fold back and affect the how we view the events in Infinity War. We expect that it will be pretty monumental. Finally, the last topic that we want to discuss is the major post-credit sequence, which we teased earlier with the mention of Nick Fury and Maria Hill, because it is one hell of a surprise. Nick Fury and Maria Hill are driving in a van together. They see a van in front of them spinning out of control. Turns out that that driver is one of the people that disappeared with Thanos' snap. And slowly but surely, Maria Hill and Nick Fury themselves are both slowly turn to nothingness. However, before Nick Fury can totally disappear, he activates a beacon, and of course, as we see on that beacon, it is a call for Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, to return to Earth and presumably help out this absolutely disastrous situation. We will obviously see Captain Marvel in an adventure that's set back during the 1990s in March of 2019, which will be just a couple months before Avengers 4, but the character will get her big introduction to the Marvel Universe, presumably will be a major force in helping in the battle against Thanos, and it should make for some serious blockbuster entertainment. We are incredibly excited for it. We will be covering it all on CinemaBlend, and we hope you stay tuned for all of our coverage.